So, Giannis wants a trade, I think. I don't really know. We've been doing this song and dance often. I'm pretty sure, at least for what I've been seeing from Shams and all the other videos that's been going out. I guess Giannis wants to be traded, and the Bucks want to trade him. It would be really funny if the February deadline comes by and he doesn't get traded. So I don't know how much effort I should actually put into this video. It might just be a ton of PNGs that kind of are on there, kind of like a Funky Diabetics video. Shout out a Funky Diabetic, definitely a better content creator than me. But don't go anywhere. Hit that subscribe button. You know, YouTube likes, audience retention, and all of that. Am I selling out? Is that what we do now? Anyway, I was actually going to be making a video talking about how Dwellman made the Rising Stars game, and I literally made a comment in that short, like, hey, I could have talked about Giannis, but Dwellman's here, right? Like, and then Giannis decides to actually do something interesting with this trade deadline. I think when I last checked, they're 12th in the East, the Bucks. Like, they're one rank above the Nets. So they're having an awful year. I mean, people have been talking about a bunch of other, teams and stuff that Giannis could go to. I don't think I should be doing that for this video. You guys have heard plenty of that already. I know Sporting Logically said something at the end of his video that the Nets might be a dark horse trade contender. I mean, not realistically. It's just more we have picks. We have young guys that might be interesting. I don't know. But hey, Josai and Sean Marks wanted to get Giannis a few seasons back. Maybe we still want him. I mean, we'd probably have to literally give up everything to get him, but, that's a thing. But I think he's more likely going to go to, like, the Knicks or Heat. I mean, Giannis has said in the past he wants to stay in the East, so he's probably going to stay in the East unless, like, OKC or San Antonio or Houston really wants him. Most likely the Knicks. I mean, Giannis wanted to go to the Knicks. He has some connection to the Heat, I think. I guess we can fill out some time talking a bit more about what that Brooklyn trade would look like. I mean, Michael Porter Jr., he's kind of like Chris Middleton. He shoots less mid-range shots, more threes. He passes now. I'm sure if Brook Lopez is on his last pair of legs, we can bring him back in for a farewell tour. See Brook Lopez kind of get maybe a second ring, question mark, even though the Nets are so far away from a championship. Anyway, I'm talking too much about the Nets. Again, this is like a Brooklyn Nets channel. I don't know if I should be talking about the rest of the league. I tried doing that like a year ago in 2024, and it went nowhere. But yeah, this is just going to be a short video. If you're still watching, hats off to you. Again, I have no script for this. I don't know what I'm doing for this video. I just really wanted to talk about the Giannis trade, not because I really even care. I think like Kenny Beecham, KOT4Q, King of the Fourth Quarter, he put it best. It's like, you're tired, right? It's like a telenovela that, should have ended 3 seasons ago. It's, that one friend in the friend group who should have broke up with, his partner a while back, because they're just toxic for each other. They had something nice for a little bit and it just soured. I guess the most interesting thing for me, is kind of how Giannis is going to look wherever he ends up. Because, first of all, your aspirations have to be kind of win or go home. You're not getting Giannis unless you're trading a farm, right? I know Luka went for, like, pennies on the dollar. Trae Young went for literal chump change. But this is Giannis. And personally, I think Luka's a little bit better just offensively, because you could lie to yourself and say that he can be a above average to phenomenal 3-point shooter for more than a season. You could hope his athleticism comes back. And that's not to say Giannis is the worst player. I think Giannis, two-way guy, just kind of a big body who could run, dunk, space the floor. Like, I think people don't really give Giannis his flowers for how good he is at just kicking out the ball or, playmaking. He even, developed his mid-range shot recently. Like, last season, he was shooting them pretty good. But I think, And I don't know how much of these injuries Giannis has just been kind of faking or overselling just to kind of, twist the Bucks' arm into trading him. But you're looking at an athletic wing who puts up high usage numbers, who often is getting injured in the playoffs, like he's Joel Embiid. Like, you kind of have to worry and wonder what's the window with Giannis. I mean, again, I wouldn't be surprised if Giannis is in the league until he's like well into his like late 30s, maybe even 40. But like, it's not going to be the same player. And I think you're seeing those right changes with Giannis. Again, he's focusing more on his mid range. Maybe he becomes more of a kind of a pocket passer. I don't really know what that means for basketball. I'm thinking more of like a guy who can like play make out of like the high post or something like that. But yeah, the weird thing about Giannis is that I don't think he's going to do well in a system where he has to be a secondary playmaker or secondary ball handler. When the Dame trade happened, I and I wish I made my videos like or I started my channel well before the Dame trade because I was someone who was always saying that it's not going to work out. Giannis is someone who likes to have the ball in his hands. Dame isn't really the best off the ball kind of guy. And again, that sounds more like a duh, obviously, because it's several years now from that. But like, I don't know how to feel about Giannis and Brunson. Brunson needs the ball in his hand. Giannis needs the ball in his hand. Like, it's different with Cat and different with Randall because like, Randall doesn't need to be your primary ball handler. Cat under like the Tibbs kind of system, he didn't have to be constantly moving around, constantly making the right pass. It was just, oh, is it time? Is it now time for Cat to post up? Yeah, you do that, right? So I don't really know if Giannis is going to translate well to the Knicks. I personally would be here for it. I mean, as a Nets fan, if it doesn't work out, that's beautiful. As a New Yorker, even if it's not the Nets, the Knicks winning a championship, that's going to be great for the city. I like Miami a bit more for Giannis, just because I think Miami, and again, it really depends on what Miami can trade because I think Miami is like a piece or two away. They're like a star away from actually being real contenders. And again, it really depends on what you're trading. Let me actually pull up the trade machine. NBA trade machine. I'm actually not going to cut anything out. I'm just again, no script, no editing. I'm just saying this all off the dome. So I'm on I think Fanspo. That's the one I usually use. I like it more than the ESPN machine. So let's see. There's the Bucks. There's the Heat. Everyone's been talking about like the Knicks and the different trades they could do. Maybe they could bring in Portland. Maybe they trade OG, McHale. Maybe they trade Cat. Let's see what the Heat are trading. Miami. Obviously, you can't trade Bam. I think Bam is the only guy you don't want to trade. The problem is that I don't think the Heat really have a central piece you want to work around. Tyler Hero isn't bad. He hasn't been the best this year, but you're looking at an all-star caliber player who can put up like 24, 5, and 5. Like, like he's putting up good enough numbers that I think if you're the Bucks, you can either sell yourself on the idea of you can sell yourself on the idea of either this guy can help us in the interim until we get our picks back, or this guy can, I guess, be valuable for us. He could play a lot of minutes when we aren't being good. We can upsell him, show his, upside, trade him to another team, get back some of our picks. So yeah, like, you could trade Tyler Hero for Giannis, and then you would still have to figure out how to make another, I guess, 20 million. I mean, you'd probably want to trade Terry Rozier's contract as well. It's 1 year, so it should be an expiring contract. Which again, that might not seem like much, but especially with like the second apron and all of that, that's a really important thing to consider. Just trying that trade right now, it works financially, but again, I don't think this is enough. If you're the Heat, you want to be trading picks. Because the Heat traded their 2027 pick, it would have to be like a pick swap with 2026, a pick swap with, let's say, 2028, and then maybe if you're the Bucks, you also want a 2029 first round, a 2030 first round. Not 2030, 2031. Maybe, again, I don't think Miami oversells. I don't think they're giving up their 2030 first round pick, but like you could see 2 first rounds and 2 pick swaps. Of our young guys, I mean, maybe you get Khalil Ware. Khalil Ware is someone that like a lot of people are really high on. I think he's a nice piece. He's not like, changing the face of your franchise. But if you trade Khalil Ware, maybe you can then trade away guys like Miles Turner, Bobby Portis. You could trade away. Yeah, those are really your only bigs on the team after Giannis. So you could trade those guys away, kind of trust that Khalil is going to hold down the front court. He's 21, he's pretty young. And yeah, let's see if we could add some other teams to this. Again, I'm not fully making out a trade per se. Let's see. Teams that have been kind of interesting. Let's see. Maybe we can add Detroit here. Maybe we can add just let me adjust that trade. So let me send Tyler Hero to the Pistons. Okay, so this is the kind of trade I was thinking of. So the Milwaukee Bucks will get Terry Rozier, Tobias Harris as expiring contracts. Young guys like Jaden Ivey and Khalil Ware, kind of, these younger guys that you can hopefully get some development out of. And you would get a 2026 first round pick from the Pistons, a 2028 first round pick from the Pistons, a 2029 first round pick from the Heat, a 2032 first round pick from the Heat, maybe some pick swaps here and there. The Heat would just get Giannis, and the Pistons would get Tyler Hero. I think the Pistons are looking for a shooter. You were hearing that Michael Porter Jr. was kind of that guy on the market. I actually think if you could get Tyler Hero to Milwaukee, that would be very interesting. But not Milwaukee. What am I saying? If you could get Tyler Hero to Detroit, I think that would be very interesting. He could be a secondary playmaker behind Cade. I like him in the backcourt with Cade, where Cade is kind of more of an interior threat. Tyler Hero is more of a kind of a spacer. The Miami Heat get kind of Giannis. That's really all they need. Giannis and Bam. How's Bam doing with his spacing? Let me actually look that up. Because he was doing good earlier in the year. I don't know if he's regressed. Yeah, 35% from 3 this year. Like, you can say Giannis and Bam is kind of your front court, with Bam being a pseudo stretch 5. Giannis kind of, being your point forward. You get Norman Powell to give you minutes. You got Davion Mitchell to be kind of a lockdown point guard who can play make a bit. Norman Powell's been a bucket. Andrew Wiggins can be another defensive 3-and-D wing. Like, I really think if we're looking at the best situation for Giannis, kind of offensively, kind of his chances at contending now, while also having a good enough team around him for the future, I really like Miami. I like this trade for everyone in a sort of sense. The Pistons obviously aren't getting Giannis. I don't think they would want to, because it would be a lot you'd have to trade up for him. But yeah, if I was the Miami Heat, I would call up Detroit and say, hey, do you like Tyler Hero? I'm kind of rambling, but you get the idea. Just to kind of summarize, the trade I'm most interested in for Giannis would most likely go to the Miami Heat. They would get Giannis. The Pistons would get Tyler Hero. The Bucks would get expiring contracts to free up their cap space. And they would get, 2 young guys that have some upside, but you really need to wait and see, I guess, what they can be, and then a bunch of draft picks, as much draft capital as they can squeeze out of these teams. But let me know what your comments are in the comment section down below, and I hope to see you all next time. I don't think I'm going to edit this video. I don't have the energy to. I just think this is a funny kind of situation to find ourselves in. So, yeah.